Fall by bell hooks. Earthworks. Thick brown mud clinging, pulling a body down. Here wounded earth cry, bequeath to me the hope. Ancestral rites that turn the ground over to shovel and sift until history, rewritten, resurrected, returns to its rightful owners. A past to claim. Yet another stone lifted to throw against the enemy, making way for new endings. Random seeds spreading over the hillside, wild roses, come by fierce wind and hard rain. Unleashed furies here in this untouched wood, a dirge, a lamentation for earth to live again. Earth, that is, all at once a grave, a resting place, a bed of new beginning. Avalanche of splendor.
Asha City, where the sun is a mirror and the moon a shadow, where dancers cavort in forbidden operas, making love to forgetting and flame, where the wealthy play at war with silver swords and silken sashes, where the people mine the dead heart of a burning star for cannonballs and pipework, and where 1,000 secrets hide in a forest of paper and ink. Here, the 5 keybearers reside, the 5 who know the secrets of the broken gates of death. 5 only. There is no 6th spire, forlorn and forgotten in the desert. There is no one who looks to the displaced, the poor and destitute and landless, whose ancestry has been stripped from them by foreign looms and foreign sparkcraft, and no one has ever heard of the House of Ending. But this is their story. Their roots pulled up and burned, they stand in filth up to their necks, and that is precisely why they must keep their heads ever high. Welcome to Uduasha, immigrant. May it fear the name of the house you will build. Welcome to Desperate Attune, an actual play podcast about characters with their identities in peril, played by an international cast devoted to fiction-first gaming, collaborative world-building, and complex character drama. Are we recording? Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, Craig.
Yes.
What?
You can't respond on his behalf, Aadiyat. That's not allowed.
Yeah.
One day you will achieve sentience.
I know. In Judgment Day, we will all be alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well.
We're reminded of that constantly, brother.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to read us in, but then that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now I will read us in.
Okay.
Welcome everyone to Desperate Attune, in which today we are stealing a farm. As usual, I am Prince, your host, and with me are Klow. Hello.
Hello, Prince.
Salty.
It's all ogre now.
Okay, Tree.
I only wish to say that at the end of this session, all of you will regret it.
And Aadiyat.
I'm not in the session because I will regret it.
Okay, I did my best to ignore the deranged hellos, but here we are.
Yes.
So.
What do you mean deranged hellos? I just said hello like this. What's wrong with that, huh?
Yes. Very good.
A completely normal
good.
response to the 20th anniversary of Shrek 2's release.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Has it been 20 years? Sorry, I'm going to stop. Please. Yes, please go on, Prince.
I heard 70th, and I was briefly seized with terror.
Let Prince finish.
Oh, okay.
That was also a community reference. Sorry, I didn't actually care if you finished.
So on this day, the 70th anniversary of Shrek 2, or possibly the 20th anniversary of Shrek 7, we are gathered to steal a farm.
What did you just say to me?
I'm saying that we are the
Gathered
crew.
to steal a farm.
Yes, the crew have decided that in order to return to their Kethrisi roots after the score in Dilkusha, and also because of the lack of food, you've looked further into Gilly Gilly Gully, and as we learned when we first attacked the Bittergord Bakshis, they have a branch of the family, who are simply called the Dilkusha Bakshis, who are entirely in the pocket of the Hive, and who grow drugs. This is fertile farmland that could be used to support Uduasha's food independence, but they're not doing that because they're with the Hive, and the profits that come from the international drug trade are enormous. So your crew have decided to do something about it, and as a bonus, also steal a farm.
Yes.
That's the setup.
Don't do drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do drugs. Only do okra.
Yes, and Bittergord. So
It's so good that this is not a podcast that is visual, because the likelihood of me stabbing one of you would be very high, and you could be able to see that in my face, which you can't.
Yes.
Are you going to apply for Norwegian visa with purpose? I'm going to stab someone.
You know what? I think they would let me in.
It's justified apparently because of Bittergords and okra.
Correct.
I'm
Please
sure.
go on.
Yes, I'm sure the Norwegian visa admins know a lot about Bittergords and okra. But so, what is your actual plan? Like, you put on the table that you're going to attack this farm, but you've gathered no information about it, and I don't think there has been much of a plan formulated. What we know is that the Dilkusha Bakshis have a farm alongside the Dilkusha. It is technically on quite good and attractive soil. It's not a big farm, not as big as their cousins, but it's a living, and they use it to grow the various things that you can import in Doskvol. In terms of drugs, right? So,
yeah, I mean, I guess we gather information. That's the first thing. I already know who I want to talk to.
Okay.
Last session, you mentioned that Mumtaz knew something about the Bittergord Bakshis, but we didn't talk about it because I was too busy being sad.
Yes.
But now,
Very good.
Now that I've gotten over being sad, I'm going to talk to her about the Bittergord Bakshis and find out what she knows. I don't know if it has to be seen or not. It's up to you.
I think it does, because she was very weaselly about admitting that she knew anything about it. So it depends. We can make it not a scene. I think there are some interesting things there. Okay. But let me first ask what everyone else is doing in terms of gathering information. Let's get an overview of it. So Bidrohi is going via his apparently well-connected girlfriend. What about... let's do Clem next. Are you gathering info? Or are you just going in guns blazing?
Doesn't Clem have a friend?
A friend, yes.
A rival,
One.
yes.
You have a rival in the drug
meant...
trade, yes.
Yeah, that's true, actually. What I meant was, doesn't Clem literally know a god in the farm?
Yes, that
yeah,
also.
The god in the farm asked us to do this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Clem knows a god. We're not friends. It's not on my friends list.
I apologize.
Yes.
Put it on your friends
Saeeda's
list.
the only one with gods for friends.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking Tamira would make sense because I think Lotus is going to come with us on this score because of my extreme success last time.
Yeah. Very good. So, like I said, we'll go through everyone, but a quick question about Tamira first. We haven't actually established this. Is Tamira with the Hive, or is she more of an independent smuggling operation?
Make her part of the Hive. I think that's better, but that's my vote. Salty gets 7 votes.
Yes.
But only 7.
Salty gets as many votes as there are Shrek movies. So.
Are we including the Christmas special and the Halloween special?
Of course.
Things that are going to occur.
Shrek 8?
Anyway, what do you think, Salty? Do you think that... I mean, I could see it going either way. Tamira is well connected enough to be the sort of person who runs with the Hive, but I think she's also cocky enough to be the sort of person to just do her own thing.
I kind of like the idea of her being independent. I think that makes sense.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. So then she has insight on the Hive in terms that they are her, business rivals,
Mm,
basically.
yeah.
Oh, so you will be doing her a favor. Isn't that nice?
Yes. Mhm.
Yes, it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Don't do your wife a favor. This is what I've learned from being married.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Saeeda, I'm just going to ignore the mad energy today and ask Saeeda, what are you doing to gather information? If you are.
Of course I am. Of course it is. Of course it is. 1 second. I'm just looking something up. Why don't you ask somebody else and come back to me?
Yeah, sure. So Mushfiq, are you gathering information on this farm?
Yeah, actually, I think might have an interesting way of doing it because when we were attacking the senior branch of the family,
Yeah.
Mushfiq met someone, I guess, someone who was his junior in Ustad Shahid's school of martial arts.
Yes. The guy
Yeah.
you just randomly made friends with, yes.
Yeah, and unless he's very upset about, Mushfiq just turning up and then killing the child in front of him, I don't know. Maybe we can patch that over, and
Yes. Okay, then we will get back to Saeeda and we will do the other scenes first. And I think it makes sense to start with Mushfiq. So I forget if we gave this guy a name. I don't think so.
we did
Yeah.
not.
No. So this is
Please
just the
name your
farmhand
son.
you randomly met.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Aadiyat, please name your son.
Mm-hmm.
I'm terrible at names.
You really can't be Aadiyat backwards or Aadiyat junior. What would Aadiyat backwards be? Saeeda? Yeah, definitely not that. That vaguely rhymes with Saeeda, which I really don't want.
Yeah. Well, there goes the two names that I thought of.
Yeah, I know.
Let's just shorten it to Taha.
Oh, Taha's not bad actually.
Yeah.
Taha's a real name.
That has a
Yeah.
real name.
Okay. Taha
Yeah,
it
okay.
is.
Taha it is. Yes.
Taha.
Your friend Taha. Well, your guy you met once and who then ushered you to your ustad, whom you then killed.
Yes.
So he is presumably still a farmhand for the Bittergourd Bakshis. They have taken an enormous. Actually, no, I think he isn't. Come to think of it, he was like loyal to the fire speaker cause. But I think what the family have done, which is common when this sort of thing happened, right, is they've just fired people because it's not like there are labor laws, and they just lost a big harvest. So like, what the hell are the farmhands supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's out of a job. I think like you can track him down in Gilly Gilly Gully. And remind me, we introduced in Gilly Gilly Gully like a bar in season 1, I think. Does anyone remember what I'm talking about?
Yes. That's where we ruined well, what were his two names? His original name was Morosim.
Yes,
And
Morris
then we turned him
yes.
into
/ Augustus Khan. Yeah.
Augustus Khan. That's where we ruined up.
Yes, that's
where
when
we
we
ruined
changed
his
his
life.
entire life. Yes,
Yes.
correct.
Okay, so we can place it at this nameless establishment, but I think it's like, I think a nice vibe here is a bar that sort of overlooks the reservoir. So it has, I'm imagining it has these little, like it's illegally built, and there are these little floating like piers that go out into the reservoir itself, where people can like sit and eat and stuff. They bribed some people. They have to take it down occasionally, and then they surreptitiously put it back up when people stop paying attention.
Yep.
So it's like a little floating bar with paper lanterns over the water. And this is where you are directed towards Taha, who is, not very happy about how things have gone. He used to have both a job and a political purpose, and now he has neither.
Yeah. Okay, so now it could be because I woke up 10 minutes ago and I'm still working on a cup of coffee. But did we say anything other than just that we are taking over this farm? Like, did we have any sort of plan about how we're doing this?
No,
You know,
there has been no
character?
plan formulated yet. You're gathering information to put together a plan, an angle, at the moment.
Okay. I think what much we can do is just approach this bar and is Taha there, just morosely looking at a drink, something like that.
Yeah.
And I think Mushfiq would just sit down next to him and go, and get his attention, gauge his reaction.
Yeah. He looks up, and there is a sorrowful sigh escaping him, a rather bitter expression, and he says, "Why are you here? No, don't tell me. Those people who made you participate in that riot, they fired you too, huh?"
I didn't expect him to say that. I think Mushfiq would say something like, I guess he says, I guess I've always been more of a independent sort of contractor type of situation. But listen, I understand that you don't want to see me right now, and I don't really expect you to understand, but what I did had to be done. The man that you knew as the Shahid was no longer him.
He snorts a little with a bitter laugh, and he shakes his head, and he says, "Guess that doesn't matter now, huh? I thought we were going to shake off that foreign yoke, and instead, I don't even have a yoke to, work the animals by. I don't even have a job."
In fact, he's the yoke.
Yeah. He sighs, and I think you can tell, right? It's one of those. He was very politically minded when he had this fairly well-paying job and this thing to look forward to, and now his concerns have very rapidly become much more mundane.
Yeah. Mushfiq can relate to him on both fronts, and he says, "No, see, well, how is they about the same age, younger?"
This guy,
Older?
I think he would be younger than you probably, because he's a somewhat blue-eyed farmhand. He's I think the vibe he gives you, right, is he's exactly the sort of young man who is naive enough to be recruited for a militia.
Well, I wish we couldn't know anything about that.
Yeah.
I wish we he says, yeah. Shaking of the yoke is what I've been doing, led by the same man as you, and I'm still doing it. But not with the way that you were doing it, the way that he wanted you to do it. You'd just be replacing one yoke for another, except you'd be the master and someone else would be under your, someone else would be the farm animal, right?
Yeah, he kind of smiles and downs more of his drink, and he says, "Doesn't sound half bad." But anyway.
No, but see, you say that, doesn't it? But that kind of thing never works. You're fighting back now, someone else will fight back against you, and I mean, you don't have to tell me that. Yeah, I don't have to tell you that. This kind of that just comes around in circles. What we can really do, is to break the yoke.
Can't make an omelet without breaking a yolk.
Yes. All right. He looks up at you, and I think he is vaguely inspired here. And so you can make your gather information roll now. I think we'll make it now, even though we haven't asked him any questions yet, because I think this comes down to how willing he is to share information with you. And so I will offer you 2 devil's bargains, and you can take either. Either you can offer him a coin because he is out of money and very poor, and this will give you a +1 die to your roll, right? Or you can offer him purpose, and you will take a +1 die to your roll. However, I think it says something interesting about you if that's what you were doing, because this is guy who is right now, like, between jobs, between purposes, between everything. He's just kind of drifting around, having no idea what to do with himself anymore. And you can exploit that if you want, but, then you're the sort of person who exploits that. So that's interesting.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, I'm glad you said again, because I was a bit worried that I'd gotten disconnected.
No.
Flip a coin. Just flip a coin.
I've got a coin. All right.
Hmm?
Give him money. Okay, heads is give him money, and tails is exploit.
Exploit the
It's
worker.
heads. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you should have said to flip a coin because it was give him money.
Okay, give him money.
All right.
It's not
Okay.
my money.
Then you can roll. Then you can spend a coin and roll consort, probably with a bonus dice.
Yeah. Man, can we also maybe? Well, we can gather information first. But if he's out of a job and we recruit a growing crew, right? He could have a job with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You could totally pay him the coin to, like, hire him for some, non-purpose related thing. I think he would be happy to just, like, work at the community center just because it pays, right? So
We're about to take over a farm.
Oh, and he's a farmhand.
yeah.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Yes.
Okay. So you offer him a coin now, and this can be like upfront salary for him working at your farm. I
Yeah.
guess we can abstract that a little bit, but it makes sense. Uh-huh.
Put him in charge. We just met him.
Yeah. Can I? Okay, before I roll, can I get a sense of, like, when you say that this was a man between purposes? Like, I guess, how do I phrase this? Like, does he strike Mushfiq as someone who was meant to be a fighter? If that makes sense, like, because I think Mushfiq sees himself as like this. This is what he is, right? He's not really good at anything else. He's not a farmhand. All he can do is.
Yeah, so the vibe I'm going for with Taha is that he's exactly the sort of person that, like, if he got a girlfriend and got married and settled down, he would be perfectly happy with that because he would give him, like, a purpose. But he would be equally happy with being, like, radicalized and martyring himself for some stupid cause. He is a man who has nothing to lose, right? And is looking for something worth losing, if that makes sense. And that could be, like, family, or it could be his life.
This is like half the dudes we went to school with.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I've met this dude, or maybe I didn't gonna catch what you were saying, but okay.
Anyway, I think you get the vibe, right? A young man with no particular, like, he is unable to envision a future for himself now, and he needs someone else to give him something to believe in.
Okay, all right. So he doesn't see. He doesn't strike Mushfiq as, like, similar in that sense. Is this not a hardened? No.
No, he's not like a firebrand at heart necessarily.
All right. Okay, so I think that Mushfiq says that, but when it comes to breaking the yoke, let's say we all have our part to play, and your skill set, I think, is better suited to a peaceful life now. But that's a very useful skill indeed. The most useful. So I'm thinking of acquiring a piece of land myself, and I need skilled workers on hand. So I think then what we can say, give him bring out the money and say that, well, but I need some help, and consider this advance payment.
Yeah, and I think his whole attitude completely changes, because he had thought you were just another guy trying to get by like him, and then you're talking about acquiring land and bringing out 1 coin, which is quite a lot of money, right? But I think he straightens his back, and even though he's drunk, his demeanor changes from, like, we are 2 working men together And I think this might be slightly strange for Mushfiq, because he gets that look over his eyes and he says, "Sir, I'd be happy to, sir." And he...
Mushfiq bhai.
I think Mushfiq immediately raises his hand and just go, "Nope, no. You can call me Bhai. That's about it."
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
No.
And he has just realized that you're a rich man, and rich men have the power to change your life, right? So...
Yeah, actually, now I look at Mushfiq's stash. Mushfiq is too rich. I need to. He needs to be poorer than this to be the
Very
character.
good.
Hey, why did you give Saeeda all that money? They can use it. I don't know what to do why.
Very good.
But, you know.
Anyway, I think now is a good time to roll your gather information, and you are thinking about acquiring a piece of land, so I guess you're framing this about learning about the land itself by the Dilkusha?
I suppose. Okay.
Or is there something else you'd rather know?
Well, I assume when we say we're going to take over a farm, that we're just going to break in and beat people up, and in that case, it'd be good to know of the lay of the land. So if he knows anything about that, I guess that's what I'm rolling for. Does he know?
Absolutely. I think that makes perfect sense for him, because he is a Gilly Gilly Gully native, right? He knows the farmland pretty well. He's probably even worked for the other Bakshis. Like, he takes jobs where he can get them, so...
I think you should roll with lifestyle, since you brought attention to it.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, actually. Lifestyle with 1 bonus dice.
Brother, how does one roll with lifestyle stash?
Yeah, you roll
also,
with stash.
Add another bonus dice because we have informants.
Okay, so it's lifestyle with 2 bonus dice. Yeah, very good.
We've got 1-1-1-5.
Okay.
And those bonus dice really mattered.
So, he will tell you a little bit.
Because you look like a rich man.
Yes. I don't want to linger too long on this scene, right? But he will tell you some decent information about the lay of the land, which is, I think, this. So it's a strip of fertile land. It's irrigated. But I think because of like weird inheritance and the family splitting up long ago, it's kind of a strange piece of land. It's that it's like a long strip along the river. It's sort of like oddly shaped. And I think the way I imagine this, because it's cool, is it's sloping quite heavily. So at one end of the strip, it's like higher up, and then there's like some rapids in the Dilkusha alongside it. And along those rapids, they have placed like the irrigation system to draw in water into wooden like pipes and I forget the word now, but like half pipes, basically, to distribute it. Which means that on one hand you have the whole like irrigation setup, which is pretty complicated and which is at a higher elevation. And then below that you have the farmland sloping down with probably the actual farmhouse somewhere in the middle along this rectangle. So there's like a vertical element. A lot of things in Uduasha are, but I think it's cool to bring that in here. So basically it's like a stair-step farm, I guess is what I'm saying. Right? So one end of it is quite a lot higher up than the other. And the area that's higher up, because it has all the irrigation, is like frequently visited because the equipment there mostly manages itself. There's occasion where some craftsman has to go over there and like repair a pipe or replace a piece or something, but generally they don't send anyone up all the way to the rapids where it gathers water.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I think that's all the information that Mushfiq needs to sneak in and do his thing.
Yep. Cool. All right, let us pivot to Saeeda. Do you know what you're doing, or shall I pivot to someone else?
Yes, I do know what I'm doing.
Okay.
Rare statement in my life these days, I think, but Saeeda's fine.
Yeah.
Which is that I'm a bit concerned that I'm leaning on this again because I'm pretty sure I did it the last time. But like the lock porters would presumably know a lot about farms in Gilly Gilly Gully because they will have helped to move stuff there, right?
Yeah,
so I should
sure.
be able to ask the Bob if he knows anything.
Yes.
Also, what's the best way to get the drugs out of Gilly Gilly Gully?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quarters.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's straightforward, and I think it need not be a scene in order to conserve things.
Yeah,
you have a good relationship with the Bob. You
Yeah.
have a great relationship with him after last time, so you can just go there and ask him these questions.
Yeah, I helped feed his guys. Right?
Yeah.
Like I'm the one who brought him in on that.
Yeah.
So it seems very good.
So I think it's just a straightforward consort roll, and you will get good information about how the drugs are transported. Well, stuff is transported in, drugs are transported out.
May I offer a devil's bargain?
You should, because I have 1 die in consort. Well, 2,
Oh.
given that we have informants. So yeah, what's up?
The drug trade is actually very lucrative for the lockporters.
That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they have a vested interest in the status quo.
Mm-hmm.
But they also have. So, I mean, that doesn't mean that you can't get what you want, but like.
Yeah, they also have an interest in cheap food, but
yeah. And I think it's possible that the vested interest just means that they are more tangled up, right? Because if it means that, like, minor spoilers for the Netflix show The Gentleman, if it means that instead of like running it off with like hands off, that we have to get more involved in it, like Theo James's character does in The Gentleman, that might be interesting. That's what happens in The Gentleman, by the way. I'm sorry if you intended to watch this show.
I was just thinking of The Wire season 2, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, yes, correct. This is how you know you're a more cultured man than me. So
it's consort with 2 bonus dice. Yes.
Yeah.
This is reasonable.
That last die was important because it was a 6.
Okay. Yes. So the Bob is fairly straightforward about this. They do make good money off it. They work with the Hive. They have little reason not to. And I think the complication here is that the Bakshis, who are the farming family that run this place, have nothing to do with the trade that goes in and out. That is handled entirely by Hive enforcers, and they are Dagger Islanders. And they are pretty like good enforcers. In fact, I think the Bob, while they're tied up in the drug trade, right, they don't go down to this farm themselves. They receive. I mean, why would they? They're not picking it, but they receive the shipments from and alongside these Dagger Islander thugs. And with a 6, I think you would get some information about the leader of these thugs, who I haven't given a name, but I should. What's the vibe of the Dagger Islanders in our story?
Just pick up V. Pyher again. Bring her back.
Yeah, you know what? Why not? It's V. Pyher. It's V. Pyher overseeing this particular. I think she's a little too high ranking to just be like among the thugs normally, but maybe she oversees it. You know, shows up to send a message.
Yeah. This is a character from season 1, and I have a very soft spot for V. Pyher because she speaks in a way that is incomprehensible to everybody except the person whom she loves. And in that way, she's like Donald Duck.
Very good.
Have fun, Prince.
Yes. So it's V. Pyher.
Yeah. Great. I think basically not really knowing anything about this person except that she's been around for a while, she's fairly high up, and her being here basically means that it's not a small operation, right? It's like of some importance to the Hive.
Yeah. Exactly. And again, I don't think she oversees every delivery personally, but she's there enough that, like, you know, the people that she employs, such as the lockporters, to like get it on their ships, they have met her and she has made clear that, like, if you steal from me, this is going to happen.
Yeah. So I think because we know that, I know also that she's the person whom we need to, like, once we take the farm, she's the person whom we need to kind of like disincentivize from taking it back.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and it's probably...
I'm just going to convey this to everyone else, and I'm going to like I think what I will say is that, so do we know, actually here's a question, do we know what kind of thing is likely to make her nervous? Like what is likely to make her feel like she shouldn't clap back?
Yeah, I mean, you get a follow-up question with a 6, so I think that's fair. Yeah. And I think what I want to establish is that with your Devil's Bargain, the Bob actually kind of likes V, or at least respects her. He goes like, she is, sense. You know, he's a sensible businesswoman. Sure, if you steal from her, she like cuts your fingers off. But if you don't steal from her, she pays well. So that's nice.
Yeah.
So that's that. And I think the thing that she is afraid of, she's fairly brutal herself. Yeah, I think
it can't just be like violence, right?
No, I think that there are two straightforward answers, and Bob tells you neither of these things. The Bob, sorry, because he doesn't want either of them to happen. But one of them is like, if you kill her, then the organization would dissolve. Like, there's no one who could take her place.
That makes
And
sense.
the other thing that he sort of knows about is that she is trying to like get a move in with the fancy and the beautiful people, like the upper classes. And there are rumors that she has a lover among the upper classes.
Right.
And so getting her like completely booted from polite society might be one of the things she actually worries about. But like, threats of violence are not going to slow her down.
Well, we have high society, so
Yes.
that's great.
And violence.
And violence. You're right. The two genders. And so I think I will come back. I'll convey this, and I think I will basically say we need to. Once we do this operation, we need to lean on our people to make it clear that, like, if she claps back at us, they're gonna drop her. It's not even gonna be us. I think this is how politics is done.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Yeah. Just in the interest of moving forward.
Yeah.
Let's not have an in-character response to that.
Yeah, sure.
Of course, this information is relayed. So, but I do think that both Tamira and Mumtaz need to be like at least brief scenes.
Sure.
So I'm going to start with Mumtaz because I think that's the fastest one. There's more tension with Tamira, who's an actual rival. So how does Bidrohi, in order to skip ahead, how does Bidrohi broach this subject with her? Are you just on a date and you just randomly start talking about farm families? Because she kind of washed her hands of the whole Bittergård business. She didn't
I don't
want much to do with it.
I mean, yeah, probably I went to see her, told her we need to talk about something. I made sure I phrased it in a way where it's not like we need to talk.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
this is fairly normal. You're both involved in, like, you are a couple, but you're also both involved in politics back and forth. So she totally understands. I think this is exactly the sort of discussions you would want to have at the Chipped Cup, the place of all the spies. And yeah.
And the way I open it is fairly straightforward. Like last time we did talk about the Bidrohi Bakshis. It was clear that she knows something about them. You know, I read your body language very well, right? You know, we are simpatico. We are like two peas in a pod. You know, and like Mushfiq Bhai is also there.
Yeah,
but not here today.
Mushfiq Bhai is also there. Okay.
Yes,
Mushfiq Bhai is also there.
Yeah,
and I So what was up with that? You were like making faces.
And I think just to frame the scene a little bit, she takes a drag on a cigarette before she talks to you, and you realize that she is smoking some of the Hive's product because, I mean, she's a performer. They do indulge in some light stimulants and relaxants from time to time.
That's fine. I do that.
Yeah,
I also do drugs.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Cool. I do
drugs. Cloister. Yeah. But it's just poignant at the moment since you're trying to take out the farm that produces these.
When I say I do drugs, I'm talking about Bidrohi.
Yes.
I'm too uninteresting. I'm too uninteresting to do drugs.
Anyway,
say no to drugs, kids.
She takes a slow draft, and blue smoke drifts out of her mouth, which is fitting with the blue smoke troop, I guess. And she looks at you and she says, I don't go down there often anymore, but I have known people from Gilly Gilly Gully. Sure. And her eyes are a bit hooded, and like she's trying to be seductive, but also telling you to back off at once, kind of.
Are you in trouble?
No. She says, and that part is entirely true.
Okay.
This is not troubling to her. It's just embarrassing, apparently.
So here's the situation, right? There's the Bakshis, we hit them before, and there's these Bidrohi Bakshis. You know, you've seen the soup kitchens and so on. People are starving for food. I mean, you have enough money that you are not affected. I'm not particularly affected either. But the people are, these guys, they are like growing drugs in valuable farmland. We are going to take the farm over. We're going to burn down whatever bullshit crops they have there, and we're going to grow, bitter gourd, I guess, and okra and other things, you know. That's the situation, just so that you know why I want to know. And I know that they're involved with, and then I lean close because the Hive aren't the strongest force in Udwasha, but still the Hive.
Yeah.
So I lean forward. I know that the Hive are the ones who are like running that show. So I want to know, well, anything you can tell me that would be relevant to us taking over this place from the Bitter Goat Bakshis, talking with the
Okay.
Hive, so on and so forth. You can keep, beyond that, your private life, whatever. That's all your business,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, lovely. I think you can make a gather information roll here. And okay.
Is it with position and effect or?
No, but I'm wondering if I want to offer you a devil's bargain. I don't think it's with
Go on.
position and effect here. I think I will offer you a choice of devil's bargains here because both are interesting, even though they're mutually exclusive.
Okay.
And I think you go, like, you can leave your private life out of it. I just want to tell me what you know. The information we're after is about the Bakshis, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Like the people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or anything that she knows that would be relevant to what I just told her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so one of the possible devil's bargains is you don't get to find out about her past, and then you really don't. Like, if you take this devil's bargain, it will be a missed opportunity, and it will not come up again. Or the other opportunity is you piece things together from what she's saying, and you learn something about her past that she would rather not have you know.
I'm going to go with the second option.
Uh-huh. Good.
Because more is more.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but it might also damage your relationship a little bit because this is not the sort of thing she wants to talk about, and she will know that you have drawn it out of her by being a clever conversationalist.
Well, I'll just rely on my personal charm, as always.
Yep.
Okay. So I have trust in me, which gives me an extra dice when I have an intimate relationship with someone. And let me tell you.
Yes.
Okay.
You also have informants, so that also counts. So it's 2 bonus dice. I think you're consorting, but it's up to you.
Yes.
And you have a
think
bonus
so too.
dice from the Devil's Bargain. So yeah. It's 3
So
bonus
3
dice.
bonuses.
Actually.
Yeah. Well,
Very good.
great time to roll a 1.
Uh-huh.
Or rather, 5 ones. No, that's a 6. But
Every other roll was a fail. So
6, 2, 2, 1, 3. Yeah.
Oh, but there's 6 in there. That's good.
Yes. So I haven't prepped my names yet, but you do get a 6. So we can brainstorm names, I guess. She will know quite a bit about this family, and I think she is really the sort of person to know more about the family. And so let us give a name to the head of this family, who is relatively young. Okay, I'll establish what I know about the head of the family first, and then we can name them. So the head of the family is a relatively young person, like not a child or anything like that, but they don't have like a wise old elder. It so happened that a lot of the wise old elders died off, and there are relatively like young and insecure people being browbeaten about by the Hive. And so I feel like we should give this person... Does anyone have a name in mind and some pronouns optionally?
Unfortunately, all of the names I'm thinking of are super South Indian, and nobody except me will be able to say them.
Mazara.
Okay, and what pronouns do we want this person to have?
Feminine?
Feminine? Okay.
Yeah.
Mazara. Yes. So she is like a woman in perhaps her 30s or so. Again, like not super young, but not like a respected matriarch. She has a relatively large family of like a lot of siblings who are probably more competent than her and definitely more aggressive. A lot of these siblings are not fans of that they're under the Hive's thumb, but they happen to be younger than her, so they have to do as she says. And there are definitely like a ton of grudges and bad blood within the family. They don't like that she's in charge. But she is generally like kind of soft, kind of afraid of the Hive, and also heavily bribed. So like she personally makes... It's the kind of situation where like the family makes money off of the drug trade. Of course they do, or they wouldn't be in it. But it's not like a super fair distribution in the sense that they just get money. It's more the case that the Hive play on her, right? So they give her personal gifts. They give her like nice clothes and jewelry, and they take her out to fancy meals. And this is the way in which they bribe her, which rubs a lot of the rest of the family the wrong way. And yeah, so her younger siblings have a lot more fire in their belly, but they are, traditional farming people. They don't usurp their older sister without good reason. And in fact, a lot of them have probably left the farm. They have looked for better opportunities elsewhere.
Okay.
So that's the situation, and this is the person that the Hive leans on. And if she weren't in charge, maybe they couldn't lean on the family quite as hard.
Okay.
Yep.
And what do I learn about Mumtaz? Is she a
Yes.
Bakshi?
Yeah, I think what you learn about her is that she is either. I think she's not a Bakshi because the Bakshis are landowner, rich families. I think you learn that she is from a family that are retainers of the Bakshis, which means that not only does she come from a farming family, which she's very embarrassed about, she comes from a pretty low-ranking farming family. She wants to do this whole glitz and glamour to escape her past, but she must have a pretty rustic past, right? This is not
She's
even
just like me for real.
Yeah. And so, yeah, this is something that she does not want to talk about. And I think you get the feeling that this is something that has traumatized her a bit too, right? She's been insulted by the beautiful people over her background before. She comes from the sort of family that the Bakshis would look down upon and call names, and they are, they're hardly nobles. So
yeah, I digest this information. I put 2 and 2 together. I see that she sees me put 2 and 2 together, and and I add that and it becomes 2 and 2 and 2 and 6. And we sit in silence for a bit.
Yeah. So it does make 6, right? You haven't added 3 2s together and gotten 1.
No.
Anyway,
it's 6. It's linear mathematics.
She digests this a bit. Her face contorts a little bit. Her mouth narrows.
And before she says something, I'm going to say, "Hey, do you want to do drugs and then have sex?"
Yeah, and I think the tension relaxes a little bit, and she just quietly agrees to this. And it's going to be the situation where normally you have sex and conversations, but in this case, there's not much conversation because she's still not that comfortable with this.
Man.
Listen, it's fine.
That would work on me as a distraction tactic. I'm not gonna lie, but that's because I'm particularly stupid.
I mean, what is there to say? She knows that I don't judge her. Obviously, I know that she doesn't want me to, say it's okay. The best thing to do is to do something else.
Yeah. Absolutely. But she judges herself for this quite a lot. She's clearly very insecure about it.
Well, nothing I can do about that.
Yep. And so, we turn to Clem, who is gathering information from Tamira. And where are you meeting your, not ex-wife, because you're still technically married. Where are you meeting your wife?
I think... her office, I think. That's where... Clem's met her before, and I think it makes sense that when they need something, they go to her.
Yeah.
Rather than call her out.
Absolutely. So her office is an increasingly awkward environment for both of you because none of the scenes you've had in here have gone particularly well, I think. But yeah.
Third time's the charm. Third time's the charm.
Yes. So you come in. I think a noticeable difference this time is she has a new bodyguard who seems tougher than the people she's had before. Maybe this is just because business is going well, or maybe she is concerned that you have brought.
She also remembers every time you've been in here.
And in particular, she remembers Saeeda, who has threatened her, and she's not fond of Saeeda. So
I haven't actually, unless Clementine has specifically asked, I have not come with you.
Yes.
Because that would be impolitic, I think. But I'm also happy to turn up and do intimidation. So Clementine,
Yeah. It's up to you. Have you brought Saeeda? Or have you not brought
Safety Saeeda.
The call of the
bringing Saeeda is a devil's bargain, and the devil's bargain is Saeeda is there. But
yeah. But I think we established that Tamira is more afraid of Saeeda than she is of you, right? So
that is true. Yeah.
Yeah, the safety Saeeda.
Yes.
Safety Saeeda.
This is my emotional support iconoclast.
I don't know about supports.
This is my emotional iconoclast. There we go, much better.
There you go.
Correct, yeah, much better.
I don't think Clem has taken Saeeda, no.
No.
Has asked.
No.
So Tamira is sitting back. You notice this like new bodyguard. That's the change, and maybe it's a message, and maybe it's just random. And she says, "Clementine, always a pleasure." With a smile that says the opposite.
New plaything, Tamira. Eyes very much on this bodyguard.
Yeah. Plaything? Oh no, not at all. I'm not all fun and games all the time, darling. And her face drops into like no smile, no emotion whatsoever.
Well, that's good. I'm not here for fun and games this time.
What a pity.
We can change that. I have an interest in the farming district. Gilly. The Hive. Ring a bell.
So really boring business, she says, and she turns the glass on her desk a little bit. She has poured a drink for herself in, but not for you. And she says, well, I'm familiar with the Islanders. Excellent business people. And very good roofball players.
I wouldn't have figured you for a sports fan.
I enjoy the occasional...
I bet she's a fan of the betting.
Yeah. I enjoy an occasional bout, he says. But yeah, the implication is she's a fan of the betting. Absolutely.
I'll cut to the chase. The Islander in charge. Pay her. Get her out of the way.
Nice.
We're taking over the operation. I'm sure that's a little bit more amenable to you, right?
And can you tell what sort of operation are you setting up in her stead? Because her operation is quite successful.
One that'll feed the people who need feeding. There's money in that, if that's what you're after.
Is there? I'd prefer it up front. And I think straightforwardly here, what I'm calling this is not gathering information anymore. You're acquiring an asset, right? So you can pay her for this. And the thing is, there are two things going on here, right? You can pay her now for this asset of some help against Vipayhar. There is also the case that she is interested in this operation now, and that just happens. So she's probably going to want to do some sort of business with you later, but she's also wanting money up front. Is it fair?
Yeah, I think it's always about the money with you, isn't it? And plunks down some coin.
Yeah.
Is that enough for your interest this time?
And she turns her glass and she says, "Oh, not always about the money. Like you said, occasionally there are fun and games." And she counts it up, and let's see this roll then. So roll your tier and spend 1 coin up front, because you need 1 coin to take the action.
Yes. Okay. Is there a devil's bargain here at all?
Yes. I think we can quite easily come up with a devil's bargain. And, okay, this is... I was going to say, like, she has some long-term entanglement with you, but that already happens. I think, rather, the more interesting devil's bargain is this new bodyguard will be involved in the score, keeping an eye on you. Like, she'll deploy this person to keep an eye on you and possibly intervene if things don't go the way she wants.
I was gonna say he's in with the Bakshis.
Ah, okay.
He is a Bakshi. This is one of the unemployed younger brothers.
Oh, this is actually delicious. Fuck yes, I love that. Yeah, he's one of the unemployed younger brothers. Why not? And the thing is, Tamir obviously knows this, but she's not gonna like tell you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, sure. He's one of the unemployed younger brothers. He's not a big fan of his sister, so he's not necessarily gonna outright stop this from happening. But yeah, he'll get involved. That's a delicious devil's bargain, actually. Yes.
Yeah,
So
sure. Why not?
He's
Seems
a little
fun.
brother Bakshi, and apparently quite a
Aw.
competent fighter.
Come on, little brother Bakshi.
Mhm.
It's fine.
Bakshi bhai.
Okay. So with that, you get your cruise tier asset, which is 2. Vipayhar is a tier 3, so you will need to spend however much coin it is to raise the tier of an acquired asset. Is that 1 or 2?
It's one per
2.
tier.
Yeah.
1.
Or is it 2?
No,
So-
just the 1.
Yeah. So then it's one more coin spent, and I think this will guarantee it won't. I think how we're framing this, right, is it will guarantee that Vipayhar won't personally try to strike back after this. That's what you're buying here.
Mm-hmm.
So-
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
I'll pay that.
Yeah, and I think Tamira is the sort of social wizard where, like, how does she convert 2 coin into making sure that this person backs off an entire farm and make a profit? Who knows? But somehow she does that because she's just that good.
Mm.
So, yeah, she counts up the money and she says, "It should suffice. I'll have a word, and I'm sure I can reroute the hive's interests elsewhere. It won't, of course, entirely save you from a bad reputation, but that's understood, I hope." She gathers up the coin.
I thought you liked my bad reputation.
Oh, I delight in it. So, it's a win-win situation, isn't it?
And why do I feel like I'm losing when I walk out of here?
Because you're playing with me, darling.
You always win. Of course. Well, have fun with your games.
Thank you. And bit of a tip. Bet on the Angels. He says about the roof ball matches.
Nice.
Prince
And-
pointing at himself.
And that's the scene, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay, so we have established that Vipayhar will be kept at arm's length. You will still take negative action status with the Hive, but you won't have her coming after you, so that's nice. And so, what have we learned? We have learned that the farm is a long, like, leaning strip at the top of which is some irrigation equipment, probably some stuff like, you know, I hesitate to call it machinery, but stuff that can gather water into barrels for later, stuff that can be used to distribute it downwards, like some complicated pipe work by which you can adjust the water levels.
Sounds
And
like a
that's
machine to me.
A machine, yes. That's relatively unguarded. It slopes down onto like terraces where the various crops are grown, with a house somewhere in the middle. It is run by a rather feckless leader who is kept personally bribed by a good working relationship with Vipayhar. And Vipayhar oversees the operations of getting the drugs in and out, which are managed by Hive thugs and quite professional Hive thugs. We have also learned that one of Mazara's younger brothers works for Tamira and is going to get involved.
Okay. So it seems like the bitter good Bakshis are ineffectual, really. Right? Or wait, we're largely fighting the Hive on this.
Largely, yes. That doesn't mean the Bakshis won't defend themselves. Like, they're still a farming family with money and assets and able-bodied people. Like I said,
Mhm.
many of Masara's younger siblings are quite capable and brave. So some younger
Mhm.
brothers and sisters might just clobber you themselves if you come trespassing on their land. They don't have a problem with that. But yeah, the Hive thugs are the bigger problem. Absolutely.
Okay. Should we draw the Hive out? I'm asking out of character, really.
If that's your point of entry, so to speak.
Yeah, like make sure basically create a situation that the Hive have to be there. Is that something we're interested in?
You want to call
I
them
think
out as a...
sorry, go on.
Sorry, go ahead. No, you go.
Oh, I was gonna say I think that is interesting. But if we're doing that, I would be interested in seeing kind of a new locale.
Mhm.
If that makes sense. Because then it might be nice to go somewhere new and then draw them there, out of character. In character, we would have to find a reason to do this.
Mm.
Yeah, it would
I was
still have
thinking
to
of
be in
getting-
Gilly Gilly Gully, I think. It's very hard to draw them to a different district, but
Yeah,
it may be possible.
I mean, I feel that it makes the most sense to do it in Gilly Gilly Gully and to do it in the farm because we established the locale for that. Like we know the terrain and so on. So we should
Sure.
use it.
Yeah. Okay.
We could also do like a multi-pronged thing because so there's a social aspect to this, right? The social aspect. I think we could each work on like different angles, maybe, but like I think the biggest threat that the Hive can pose to us, I think, is that let's say we just bummers the Bidrohi Bakshis and get them out, and then everything's going fine, and then our attention's passes away in like a week. We're looking at something else, and then they come up and then they kill all our guys and burn the farm down. That seems like what the Hive would do. So I think to prevent the Hive from doing that, what we should do is get the Hive to show up and clobber them. So we essentially, we control the tempo of that fight. And the reason I'd like us to do multi-pronged is that we've been doing fights a bit, so it could be interesting to do something else. But anyway, okay. It seems that we are interested in drawing them out, so I'll just say what I'm going to do to draw them out.
Okay.
Okay.
It still seems like the type of operation is a battle, basically. Like it's drawing them out and kicking their asses to show them what you mean, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So this isn't going to be the engagement roll because it's not the score, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't even know if it has to be a roll because what's going to happen is that we're going to find one of these Bittergourd Bakshis as they go about their business in like somewhere in Udwasha. A bunch of my personal goons is going to show up and beat the shit out of him.
Okay.
Lovely.
And basically tell him that we're going to fuck up his farm.
Okay, so you're giving them advance warning.
Yes.
Okay, let's name this person that you're beating up, because I think it's relevant. One of Mazara's younger siblings.
Obviously I tell the boys I tell the Bodmashes to be like, well, beat him up, scared the shit out of him and so on, but like make sure he goes back home in one piece, and don't do permanent damage. Those are my instructions. I don't know if they're going to follow that.
Okay. Roll for your cohort, I think.
Okay. To see if they follow the instructions, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Since I'm going to roll command first. Because I'm telling them to do this. Is this a fortune roll or something else?
I think it's a fortune roll because it's mostly largely down how well this sets you up.
Okay. That's me. I rolled a 3. And let's see how the cohort do. They should be rolling 3 dice. Let's see if that happens.
Yes, and since this is a group action, you take a stress for failing. Just pointing that out.
Yeah, and we also get an extra bonus dice for group actions. Okay, it's a 6.
Okay.
Lovely.
And yes, that is the correct amount of dice. Oh no, they should have been rolling one more actually. So.
Okay.
Oh, it's a crit actually.
Lol.
Okay.
I really regret being somebody who says out loud, lol. This really suggests a problem in my life. There's nothing to do about it.
Okay, so then I will give you a choice. I have named this person arbitrarily Danesh Bakshi, that you beat up. And I think because you get a crit, you just get to tell me what sort of person is he. He's one of the younger siblings, but what sort of person is he and how will he personally react to this? And how will he instruct his family to act? And by extension, the Hive.
I think he's one of the. I think he is the oldest male sibling, and I think that his vibe is entirely we should do this, we should do that. Put me in charge, sister. Sister, if you let me do this and so on. So he's been looking for a fight, not necessarily a literal fight, but like he's been wanting to be in charge. I think if we wound his pride like this, he's going to go back and he's going to, get them all up in arms.
Okay. Sure. So both his family and the Hive. He's really gonna spur them on. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you get exactly what you want. You roll a 6, so your cohort beat him up, humiliate him just enough to make him angry, and he riles up, pretty much pulls all the strings he can to get people to be like, hell no, if anyone comes here, we're kicking their ass. So you're kicking the hornet's nest, effectively.
Yep.
And so, this is a downside for you in a sense, because it means, they'll know you're coming and they will rile up all the defenses, but the Hive will throw pretty much their toughest guys at you, and if you beat them up, they won't have any tougher guys to come take it back from you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that's going to happen, but we don't actually have a plan for what we're doing, so it's entirely possible that our plan will involve intercepting the Hive before they show up. So we can essentially divide and conquer.
This is possible.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need a detailed plan as usual, this is Blades, but we do need some sort of point of entry, so is the plan to wait for the Hive to show up and fortify the place, or is the plan to hit the Hive on the way there? Or as a third option, is the plan to both hit the Hive on the way there and the farm?
I feel like the latter is our best bet. Because this way we get to fight in the farm and also potentially fight the Hive somewhere else.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting. That sounds like a good idea. I'm wondering, because we've got the favour of Lotus on our side here as well, I think there's
yes,
it would certainly be advantageous to do it on the farm.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, we should. You're right.
We've got a god on our side. This is easy.
Yes, good. I will be right back for a few minutes, but you can keep discussing the plan.
You may have a god, but we have a Hulk. I'm really sorry. I regret.
We have both a god and the Hulk.
Yes, correct.
And
Shankarabharanam is both of them.
Indeed.
Okay. I think sounds like Clem and Sherakatam could take maybe our sword school and intercept the Bakshis, or I assume that they can't just take on the farm by themselves, and they will need a cohort. I don't know.
That seems like a reasonable thing to assume.
Yeah.
Do you want to hold hands when we do it?
Why not? We'll skip our way to the farm.
You'll notice they did not specify whose hands, so you could just be holding your own hand around the hilt of your sword.
Isn't that basically holding hands, together?
This reminds me of
especially if it's the sword Clem made.
This reminds me of the Disco Elysium skill check to say the cool thing, where you just say, "Let's rock out with our cock."
Yes, I was gonna say we should hold each other's swords.
Oh no, it's like let's rock with our cock. That's the first thing, and then you can correct yourself to say let's rock out with our cock. And then you can try to salvage
and then
the situation.
Kim goes, please.
Okay, I'm back.
Detective.
What's the plan?
Oh yeah, sorry, I got distracted.
I'm channeling Kim Kitsuragi. Is what's happening.
Good.
Okay, we suggested that it might be cool for Clem and Mushfiq to hit the farm using our cohort.
Yep.
Which means that it makes sense for me to take my cohort and hit the Hive as they come in somewhere, and Saeeda can join with that, or Saeeda can pursue another opportunity. Up to you.
So I think out of character, the thing that I'm wondering is, on the one hand, we have this high society angle, but on the other hand, it feels to me like separating the crew is not as interesting, because it feels like if Saeeda's off on their own, then if they get in trouble, nobody can come and help them, right? So I feel like it is better to not do that, but it's possible that in a sense of what is the best plan for this crew, They should, in fact, do that. So
I don't mind
know.
you. I don't mind you splitting up. What's your high society angle then?
I think my high society angle is that because we know people who are fancy, it seems like if I'm able to convince enough people that Vipahad is a bad idea, that this violence would be the straw that breaks the camel's back. So Vipahad may choose to not retaliate because she understands that it's either keep her standing in society or kill some refugees. We're poor and innocent refugees, don't you know?
We have already established the angle that Vipahar is like Tamira is going to deal with V, but I think it's interesting. However, my question is just like, do you have someone in particular you would talk to, like a faction, a person?
That's a good question. I'm actually looking at the faction sheet now to see.
Because I think for this to be interesting, it can't just be like some high society people, right? We have to specify it a little bit more.
Who's our favorite demon house? House and Nexus?
Wow. Is that a word we're allowed to? Wow, we're just gonna say favorite demon house like that's a normal thing to say, huh? Yes, it is a House of Nexus. You are correct.
Or House Ansarek, your landlords.
No, we're gonna kill House Ansarek, so it can't be them.
That's exactly what it should be then, because it's funny. It's pathetic
Oh,
policy.
Okay, I think it should be House Ansarek because House Ansarek are also the ones who value strength and violence.
Yeah.
And so it would be really funny if they were the ones who are like, you can't do violence because they are actually our people. We do the violence against them, not you.
I mean, makes sense. They are also your landlords, so you have a good reason to talk to them.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes perfect sense. Just one more question.
Yes.
Really, which is, or I suppose for Zoheb then, for Bidrohi, you are setting up to hit the Hive when they're coming here, and just because I think it's interesting if you decide, do you think they're coming along the Dilkusha River and disembarking just before these rapids that sort of mark the boundary for the farm? Which is one way for them to get here, right? I don't think the Dilkusha is used very much for transportation, but the Hive could do it because they're smugglers, so they can go wherever. Or do you think it's more interesting if they come via an overland route with pack animals?
So
Like
you're thinking of the foreign quarter, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. I'm wondering like what way they transport these drugs in and out. If it's via boat and the complicated system of locks and whatnot, or if it's via pack animals and the foreign quarter. Because I want to flavor this other location a little bit more.
Let's say the foreign quarter. We haven't seen that yet. Well, we have, but very briefly.
Okay, so your plan is to ambush them in the foreign quarter, then?
Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. So what will happen then, presumably, is that, like, as this messenger is dispatched, they are going to scramble some troops, which you happen to know are in the foreign quarter, right? And you will hit those guys as they're coming towards us. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we're ready for engagement roll then.
Yes.
Go to acquire an asset real quick.
Okay, what's that asset?
Well, we have a pet mercenary.
We do.
It's a normal thing to say.
Hey, Jasper.
We mean Omid.
You want?
Jasper? Yeah.
Sorry,
Omid.
yeah, Omid. Jasper's dead. Yeah. Hey, Omid.
Yeah.
How's the business coming along? Like shit, I imagine. Here's some money for you.
Okay, and what do you want Omid to do?
I imagine. I mean, Jesus Christ. Sorry.
More muscles?
You want Omid to just fight alongside you in the battle then?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can be on top of the roofs like cowards and shoot at the Hive. We can be on the ground like badasses and fight the Hive.
Okay, I mean, you can acquire an asset. It sounds straightforwardly like an acquire asset like normal. I don't think you get any bonus dice or anything because this is just one of those, like, you know Omid, he's reliable, you know his flaws and edges, but he doesn't work for free. That's the one thing you know about him.
Yeah. So I'll pay a crew coin. And we have stockpiles, so we get an extra.
Okay.
And let me quickly check if I have any relevant bonuses. Are Omid's onagers a friendly faction?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so
Friendly is an interesting word to use here, given that he knows that if he's not our friend, we will destroy him.
Yes.
Oh, that's just how it works sometimes. Okay, so river to my people will apply. Just
Yes.
FYI. Okay, so bonus dice, and let's see how it goes. It's a critical, which means we get tier plus 2, right?
Yeah. So you somehow get Omid's onagers as a tier 4 asset. I think,
also
okay, I can make sense of this, actually.
I don't know what that would mean.
Yeah, I actually know what this represents, I think, why they are so damn good. They know the foreign quarter. They operate it out of there all the time. They have extremely good turf knowledge. So, like, it's not that they come with better weapons or better equipment, but they know the rooftops like the back of their own hand. They know the routes. They probably have even fought the Hive before in just, like, skirmishes. So, Omid will come with a lot of experience here. Mm-hmm.
So because I get, because of river to my people, I get better results on top of this. And technically there's no result above crit, but if I can imagine an extreme effect, as it were, I would like, the only thing that could make this even funnier is if Omid's onagers have been hired by the Hive to attack us as well.
Sure. So they will also be surprised by it.
Yes. Yeah.
Fair. Okay.
They'll be like right next to the guys they're supposed to shoot.
Lovely.
Sure. All right. So the most dangerous people then will be hit by Bidrohi and crew. Clem and Mushfiq will be hitting the younger siblings of the Bakshi family, as well as their hired security, essentially, which is going to be mostly cousins, because that's how this works. So siblings and cousins. And Saeeda is going to be talking to Klaus Anserek, where we don't, like, your contact person with them is a demonic cube. So
this is true.
The question is, are you talking to the cube or are you talking to someone else?
I'm sure there's an actual person who also shows up.
Yes.
No, but the person is like. So if I remember correctly, just to catch our listeners up, the demonic cube is also some kind of meat grinder that is pushed by a person, and the horrific grinding noise is speech.
Yes.
I remember this. Good. Great. Amazing.
So are you going to be negotiating with the demon and saying, hey, the Hive suck? Or are you going to talk to an actual human being with human interests?
Because you are Saeeda, maybe you're more comfortable talking to the screaming cube. But...
yeah, it's possible that I would have better effect talking to the demon, which is why I should talk to a human.
Yes. Go on then.
Okay, I will make up a person for you. We will see, depending on the engagement roll, how influential a person you get, I think.
Sounds good.
Okay, I think then we're ready for the engagement roll. And then I will take a slightly longer break, like 10 minutes, once we've done the engagement roll, to plan a little bit. So, is this operation particularly bold or daring?
I sure hope so.
Yes.
I think you made it that way by provoking the Hive. Like, if you hit them by surprise, it wouldn't be. So, 2 dice. Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? I don't think so. You're splitting them up and hitting them.
No, it is because it's a tri-pronged engagement.
Oh yeah, true, actually. All right. So, then we're back to 1 die. Does the plan's detail expose a vulnerability of the target or hit them where they're weakest? Yes, I think so. You have split them up. Is the target strongest against this approach, or do they have particular defenses or special preparations? They did, but you took away Omid. So I think let's not count this for that reason. That's 2. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? They have. So I think that's 3. Particularly since we have a little god of the soil on our side as well. Enemies or rivals interfering? No. Well, yes, actually. I will count this because Tamira is interfering via the younger Bakshi brother that got roped in. Yeah.
Yes.
So Tamira is kind of in a weird way meddling. Basically just by letting her bodyguard know about this.
Omid is also Sherikatan's rival.
Yeah.
And he's a wild card who plays both sides so that he comes out on top.
Yes.
Except so then the last time he absolutely did not. But yes.
So then
that's
we're
why he
back
wants
to
to
2
do it
dice.
this time.
Yeah. And other elements, the Hive are higher tier than you, but I think I'm
Yeah.
not going to count it because you have done a lot to countermand that. Specifically, you removed VPyHar from the equation.
Mhm.
So I think we land at 2, and then if you have special abilities, they might add more.
Oh wait, do you
We
think
do.
that what may have happened is that I'm at a meeting with VPyHar?
I think so. Yeah, I think that's perfectly logical, actually.
That is the worst. Why do I put myself in this situation? Very good, thank you.
Mhm.
Great.
Then we don't just foreshadow her; we actually include her in the episode. But she will be in a relatively open to negotiate position. She'll be like, okay.
Great. Incredible.
So, and we have door kickers. We are assaulting people, so you take +1 die. So it's actually 3 dice. You're pretty well set up here, but you did prepare meticulously.
May I roll?
I bless you, my son.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
5.
5. Risky
The num-
engagement.
Yeah, the number we like best.
Very good. Yeah, I'm starting with Saeeda. Saeeda, how are you actually framing this meeting that you've booked? With are you booking it with VPyHar? Is that your angle, that you're intentionally doing this, or is it more something that happens to you? I have an Anserek person I have made up for you to meet, but what do you actually say on your booking? Purpose of visit.
Purpose of visit. Death. No. Purpose of visit. I think purpose of visit. Meeting to discuss possible business arrangement.
Okay, very good. So a possible business arrangement with your landlords.
Correct.
And so I think you will be meeting with a person and not a demon, because demons don't handle this.
Yes.
Right? If you had more esoteric things, maybe you would meet with Scream Grinder or some other representative. But instead,
Sir,
I think...
what is the meaning of sustenance?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me for 1 second.
Prince went away to contemplate the meaning of sustenance. I suppose Singapore is a pretty good place to contemplate the meaning of sustenance.
It is. No, but then I think, Saeeda, you will have a meeting with one Iskander Anserek.
Love me,
Who
and
is-
Alexander. Yes,
Mhm.
Iskander.
Yes, who is, who's going to invite you into... Where do the Ansereks discuss business proposals? They're the architect, so I imagine it's pretty fancy.
We could go back to that fancy hotel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Why not? The lobby of the fancy hotel. The Himagiri?
Yeah, Mount Himagiri. Yes.
Mhm. Yes, perfect. So it's the hotel lobby. Iskander is there hosting some friends. He has invited you along. And I guess this is the setup for meeting with VPyHar too.
Yes. Indeed.
So he is inviting you there to flex on them. Okay, good. Then we know roughly where that scene is going.
Yes.
So I will probably do the following. I will introduce all 3 scenes so that everyone knows just how much trouble they are in.
Do it like the
That's-
Between.
And I will begin then with the Himagiri Hotel. So Saeeda, this is pretty high up in Uduasha, right?
Yeah.
And you walk into this lobby with a wonderful view. And this is not necessarily a super secret business meeting. So while you have a little personal booth to talk in, it's not a private room situation, I don't think.
Mhm.
And so what you are going to see is this nicely set out table with a couple of glasses set out, and VPyHar already seated there with her interpreter. So there's 2 Dagger Islanders, one of whom is VPyHar, and I guess you recognize her from the description. So we don't have a physical description of her. Does anyone remember what she looks like?
I remember her being very short, muscular, butch, and angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good summary of it.
I realize now, more than a year later, what I was kind of basing my impression of VPyHar being unintelligible on. And it was whatever it is that they speak in lock, stock, and 2 smoking barrels.
Very good. She has an interpreter there, as she often needs
Oh,
one.
good. Yes, that's good.
And this interpreter is also a Dagger Islander, but like a fairly gregarious-looking man with a wide smile and well-combed hair.
Mhm.
Like a very neat looking fellow, but who still definitely has the scoundrel look to him. And then a moment you're confused, because you don't see like any of the Ansarex anywhere, until you realize that there's a bar in the Himagiri. And behind this bar stands an enormous man, well over 2 meters tall, broad-shouldered, bald, with a full beard, and he is mixing drinks.
Holy shit. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
He is doing this personally himself, despite that his like clothes pretty clearly indicate that he is a man of high status and standing. And you can see the actual bartender standing like cowed by him a little bit to the side. And he spots you with a wide grin, and he says, "Ah, Saeeda and Katan, welcome. Please sit down. What can I get you?"
We know that Saeeda, when they were trying to steal and successfully stole from Hadil, I think that day was drinking wine, but that's not actually her drink. I think she will drink a what is a particularly Catharisi beer.
Yes. So he looks a little disappointed. He like.
Oh, you know what? Make it a Catharisi shandy. So half beer and half whatever passes for.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good.
Do ontological violence to this man. Good.
Yes. Yeah.
So he wants to. You request a Catharisi shandy, and he still looks a little disappointed, but less so. And he will mix you up a drink.
Yeah.
And then he will come over with. Not only like he will get you your drink, but he will also bring over to the table a tray full of dainty little cocktails that he's made, like very, very small sips of incredibly strong alcohol. Like there's a reason he serves them in these small glasses, because this is like very high alcohol content, especially in a setting like this where that's hard to do.
And to be clear, downing this like I'm some kind of sailor is absolutely not correct, right?
No, probably not.
Okay.
So that's your situation. You are meeting the amateur mixologist and Vipahar at the same time. And let us pivot to Bidrohi. Right? So you are waiting. You are waiting on these Hive transporters, essentially. With their, I think they rely on transport goats. They're a common thing throughout Uduasha. And you have the Jezalchis on your side. I imagine they fire the first shot, so they're just going to like shoot one of these people.
Oh, no, I want the Jezalchis to be with them.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So what? Okay, you can tell me what you imagine this confrontation will be like, and then I will tell you what the engagement roll actually means. So. Do you like step out in front of them as they come out with their goats?
Yeah, I'm dribbling a roof ball.
I don't think they pay any attention to you. The foreign quarter, just as a reminder, is one of the. It has like low, flat roofs. It's ideal to play roof ball. It's also ideal to move around on the rooftops, and it's less vertical than the other districts. There's like it's relatively flat for the most part.
Yeah, but I'm in their way.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know if they know who I am. I don't know if I'm famous.
No,
I don't know if I'm famous.
Yeah, I don't think they will recognize you in this situation. But I also don't think that they like. So these are Dagger Islanders. They're wearing mostly like black and brown clothing. They don't look particularly fancy. Their whole vibe is they're trying to blend in, right? So they look like people on their way to pick up a delivery with their goats, which is exactly what they are. They're quite unremarkable. They are probably armed, but they are not like armed to the teeth. They're trying to keep a relatively low profile. And I don't think that they particularly shoo you out of the way or anything. They don't pull the whole like aggressive out of our way kid. Rather, they just kind of lead the goats onwards and expect you to move. And if you don't, a goat is gonna like shove you with its horns, like not barrel into you, right? But just kind of shove you out of the way a little bit.
Yeah, I do a sick kick and pass the roof ball on to their leader.
Yeah, And I think this is the first part of your challenge, actually. There's one guy who walks up front, but they have no particular difference in dress. So you can't really identify a leader more than the guy who is going first.
Yeah. Okay. I think
So you
then
can
I
make
just
you can make a roll
yeah.
for that if you want, but
I think I kick the ball over there and I say, "All right, guys, who's in charge here?"
yeah. I think that's an action right away, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
Be
they're
provoked, I
savvy
guess.
people.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Command, I think. Yeah.
Mhm.
Command obedience with your force of personality.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just say that. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't think there's anything.
Yeah.
You may
It's risky
push
standard.
things.
You can find out who's in charge.
Is it? How big is this gang?
I imagine there's quite a lot of them because they are coming down to, like, they are coming down in defense of this place. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Uh,
What's my position effect?
I think it's risky standard, and let's call these people, like, in terms of magnitude 2, probably. There's the same amount of them as there is of your gang. Actually, no, they were pulling out all the stops, so I guess it should be 3. Yeah.
And I just showed
So
up
that's
with
a
my
large
small
gang
personal guard.
of like 20 people. So.
Yeah. So some of whom are Omid's onagers.
Yeah. So it's 20 people, including Omid's onagers.
Okay. May I have a devil's bargain?
To this, asking them who's in charge as you kick the roof ball over. Okay. Is there an interesting devil's bargain going on? Okay, yes, I have a stupid devil's bargain for you, but I'll take it. You don't play roof ball, so you kind of nicked this ball off of some kids playing it in the street. Like, it came bouncing, you picked it up. And there are people looking for this roof ball.
Well, free roof ball, you know?
It's dangerous. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't steal it, it was just bouncing around.
Yeah,
I think that's
absolutely.
Bidrohi wouldn't steal a child's roof ball.
No, and maybe it's not kids. You don't know precisely who you've stolen it from, but there are people who are looking for this roof ball, and it's actively involved in a match.
Yes, we know who it is. Okay. We know who it is, and that's what she deserves. Oh, wow. That'll work.
Okay, a 3, and a 3. Perfect. So what is happening here is that you kick the roof ball towards him, you ask who's in charge, and they smell trouble immediately. They know that something is going on. They are quite paranoid, and so the man in front just lets loose his goat at you. Just like lets it go. They're not using them. They are here to fight, and then they scatter. They just spread out, disappearing into different alleyways, going different routes, and it's very, very clear to you that they have a plan for this. And so not only do you not find out any information about them, the consequences, you will immediately lose track of them, at least the majority of them.
So I have dashing, which lets me resist consequences of looking foolish or failing to impress.
But I don't think this is the consequence here, because you're not looking foolish or failing to impress. The consequence is just that they run away.
Okay, so the important thing is I don't look foolish or fail to impress.
No, you absolutely, I think it's rather the reverse, actually. They get scared by you. So
good, as they should. I think
we have such dumb priorities in this game.
I think then I'm standing in the middle of the street. The ball is kind of bouncing away. And then I say, okay, well, I am in charge of my guys. And, well, come at me, bros.
Is that a resistance of some kind, or is it a new action?
Well, I'm just, let's just get the party started, is what I'm saying. So, I don't know what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We will cut away to the people down at the farm. And so, Clem and Mushfiq, you are approaching with your cohort. Yeah? Is this by stealth, or are you like paint the scene for me here a little bit? Are you walking down the street pretending that you're on your way to the farmer's market? Are you creeping through the bushes? Like, what's your approach? And what load are you on? Which is highly relevant here.
Oh, Mushfiq does like to creep, but I mean, so this is just the armed security, right? Like, are we expecting this to be?
No, you're not expecting the Hive to be here, right? So what you're expecting is a bunch of cousins with, probably with quite good weapons, because these people can afford things and it's a big family. But it's not elite soldiers you'll be facing. It's people defending their family and their home turf. They're highly motivated, probably, but they're not that well trained.
Yeah. So maybe Salt, you have a different idea. I just figured that we would turn up, glower at them, and then leave.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think Clem's the one leading the majority of the Rising Moon, and Mushfiq is they're trees,
ninja.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are trees, absolutely.
Clem's drawing the attention.
Yeah,
They went
so you're
over
just
this.
coming down the street with your people.
Yeah, and I'm on
Tiger is
normal
never
load.
seen.
You are what? Sorry, Clem, I didn't catch that.
I'm on normal load.
Normal load. Perfect. And Mushfiq is on what load? Normal also? Or
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So then there are two things going on here. Two challenges. The first for Mushfiq is that this strip of land along the river is free of trees, obviously, because they're growing things here. So I think you are appearing in the treetops with a vantage point above everyone else. But I think that you will be quite some distance away from Clem and the gang as this begins, just because that makes sense, right? If you're coming from the treetops. So you're in stealth, and no one's seen you, but you're a little bit far away. So that's the immediate problem that faces you. But there is a larger one facing the both of you. Which is that as you approach, and you can see this farm clearly, you were expecting these. Maybe a cousin who knows how to fight. One of them has a sword or some kind of weapon. And that's something you see. What you don't expect, but do see, is a large, hulking, broad-shouldered, inhuman shape standing among them, bent over like a gorilla. It's a waxwork golem. Somehow they have a waxwork golem, and a large one.
Oh.
There's an armored wax gorilla in their midst.
Okay, and what's it doing? Just walking around? Is it for a lever? Just working on the farm?
No, it's standing there. It's quite clearly there for, they have been warned that someone is coming to beat them up, and it's unsubtly there as a warning to those intending to beat them up. And I think this waxwork gorilla is going to notice Clem and the gang imminently. What do you do? Let's say that Mushfiq has the initiative, since Mushfiq is coming by stealth, so I will ask Mushfiq what you do first, but you are some distance away. And of course, Clem, you also see this gorilla. It's not hiding. It's just, you probably don't see it that much longer before it sees you.
So tell me a bit more about the layout. Like, this, what are the waxwork golem has noticed Clem? Have any of the other farmhands, or so the guards noticed them as well, or?
Yeah, I think basically what they have noticed is that people are coming here, so they don't, they haven't noticed Clem insofar as they go that's our enemy, let's charge out and fight them. They've just paid attention to people are approaching. We know that we are being attacked, so maybe that's them. So be alert. That's the vibe of them. And just to reiterate how I imagine the landscape, it's like a terraced farm with these rapids next to them. Right, so it's like a stair-step layout with terraces sloping down.
Neat. Okay. I think what Mushfiq would do is, if they're not immediately charging at Clem, or if I've not quite seen our gang figure our gang as the enemy, and maybe take the opportunity while their attention is elsewhere to creep closer to the golem. So I guess the crops here, the rice are just sufficiently tall enough that we can creep between them and
absolutely slip in between the poppies and glide forward. Absolutely, I think that's the thing you can do. I think it's risky standard.
All right.
And standard success here is just getting you close enough that you could throw something at the gorilla or hookshot it or something. It doesn't get you into melee range with it, but it gets you close enough, right?
Yeah, that's fun. Okay. Cool. Let's roll Pearl here. I don't think I need to do anything fancy. Risky standard. And we see that it is a 6-2 and a 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. So Mushfiq creeps closer as the people are quite understandably distracted by the approaching gang. And Clem, what are you doing as you see this? Again, I think the vibe is you see these people before they realize that you're their enemy. So it's one of those, you know that you're hostile to them. They don't yet know what's up with you. So you can act first.
Yeah, I think Clem approaches, and they're with normal load. They are quite clearly they've got the accoutrement to cause trouble if they need to. But what they do is kind of look around this array of motley people who have come to defend their land, and I suppose as well pegs the bodyguard.
Yes.
They'll be here as well.
Yes, Tamira's bodyguard is indeed present. He is probably wearing his uniform for work because it's the best armor and weapons he has.
He's got his work clothes on still.
Yeah.
Tamira has a uniform?
Uh-huh.
She would, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
She definitely would. And I think rather than immediately attack, Clem's soft. Clem's going to let them back down. I'm afraid you're under new management. You see, the little gods that you so revere aren't particularly happy with what you've been doing. I'll give you one chance to let us through, or this will get nasty for you.
Okay, interesting. So your goal here is to get them to what exactly? Just let you enter the farm? Or to actually stand down?
Yeah, I think standing down is the ultimate goal, but get a foot in there for this to be a negotiation rather than a full-on takeover.
Okay, perfect. It sounds like command. It's risky because that's what the engagement role tells us, and it's a limited effect. And the reason that it's a limited effect is that you are lacking some information here. So how I'm framing it is you can get onto the farm, but you won't be as in control of the situation as you think. If you up it to standard, you can get onto the farm and also figure out what is going on. But I think that's the best way to frame it. So it's a limited effect, but you can get physically onto the land. You just won't be in as good a position as you think you are.
Yeah. Cool. I think let's trade position for effect. Let's go desperate standard. And I think the desperate here is Clem leaves the gang behind in terms of steps forward and is on their own kind of standing right. Maybe immediately.
Party?
Yeah.
Sorry. I mean, we've already split the party. That is the
absolutely. Yeah. So it's desperate in the sense that
Saeeda, if anything, Saeeda split the party.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Refused to hang up with Bidrohi. I don't know why.
So to truly make this desperate, I think your crew will be they will be slow to act. It's probably not that they're physically that far behind you. It's just that this wasn't part of the plan. So it'll take them a second to react to whatever's happening with you. I think that's a fair way to frame it as desperate. So it's not like they're 100 meters away, but they're as slow as a gang that's perfectly prepared and 100 meters away would be.
Fantastic. And I've got a full XP bar for resolve, and I'm going to put my pip in commands. So I've got 3 dice. So I've got desperate standards. What would great get me here?
I think great would mean not only are you on their land, but you have some sort of upper hand on them. So you will not only figure out what their play is, but be able to turn it on them.
Sure, let's push myself for great.
Okay,
why
so
not?
Desperate great, pushing for effect.
Yep, and I will keep it as is, I think. I will not ask for a devil's bargain at
Very
this
good.
point.
So just 3 dice. Desperate, great.
That's a 5.
That's a 5.
Yes.
Okay, So this is tricky. Actually, this is a somewhat tricky space to navigate. Mushfiq is sneaking up. He's available. Okay, yeah. I think I know what the desperate consequence is. And I hadn't imagined this place as being like necessarily fenced in, but it is lined by trees. They do have a fence, and I guess what they have is a gate. I think what your desperate consequence is going to be is like you step onto the land to speak with them, you get into position, and there are some guys behind you didn't see that just close the gate and bar it behind you. So your crew is now outside of the gate. And they were probably ready to do this as soon. I mean, they're waiting for allies, right? So they kept it open in case the Hive arrived first. But now they've closed it.
Hey, Mushfiq, how do you feel about the Clem-ship duo just taking these guys out?
Oh my God,
Should we resist?
Is that the ship name?
It's in. I mean, it's Mushentine. Obviously, the Mushentine duo.
Can I resist on your behalf?
Can I resist the ship name?
No. That can still happen.
We're doing the consequence first, then I will get into what happens and what you find out. But the question is, are you resisting the gate being closed? And I think if the gate is closed, it will be very hard for your cohort to get in. Like, they can obviously like jump the fence or whatever, but again, they're not precisely prepared to do that, so.
I mean, I just think it's really funny for this to happen. I know it puts us
Yeah,
at a
I mean, I
massive
think I'm happy for it to.
It's just so funny that this should happen.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a desperate consequence, right? I think entirely losing your cohort is fitting.
I am prepared to resist this, and I know how. Just a question of whether you.
But why would you resist? Just imagine, like, just
because I like seeing your cohort.
Yeah, well, we might still get to see them, but I think for now the vibe is we are not resisting this.
Because I'm picturing Clem just going, Leroy Jenkinsing in, and they close the gate, and the rest of the crew is just looking up, completely nonplussed, like, so we're just gonna wait here, or?
Yeah, I mean that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm just
I mean, if all comes to worst, I've got this. I can just kick the gate down.
Yep.
I wanted to kick a gate down at some point.
Yes.
This will be perfect.
Yeah, fair enough.
This is okay for now.
But yeah, for now the consequence is twofold, kind of. One of them is the gate is closed, and two of them is your cohort has no idea what to do. And just stand around confused. But you got great effect, so I think let's have Mazara, who everyone is annoyed with, be the cause of why this goes badly for them. So she steps forward. She is this elegant woman, dressed much nicer than the others. She has had her hair recently done in long flowing locks, and she looks condescendingly at you, and she says, like, well, it's not us you need to negotiate with, it's Vipaiha and the Hive, and they'll be here any moment, she says.
Oh, no.
And what she gives away is like her younger siblings groan, because their plan was to stall for time. Their plan was to have you enter and be like, yes, of course we can negotiate until they have more manpower. And instead what's happening here, the great effect you get is that she just lays their hand out on the table and goes like, the Hive will be here soon, you are so screwed, and her siblings are even more irritated with her. Is that a fair great effect?
Yeah, that's fine. But it's perfect. I'm in the position I want to be in.
Yeah. And so I think you are perfectly capable of negotiating with these people. You have Mushfiq nearby. We will see precisely how this plan of waiting for the Hive turns out, but let's now pivot back to Saeeda. Juggling the
So
spotlight.
we know
around since
out
you
of
split up.
character that apparently Vipaiha is also on a timeline. So we're both like
Yes.
kind of tensely being like, this is very important, but also I actually have somewhere else I kind of need to be.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
good. Yeah.
Mhm.
Good.
And
good.
Iskandar seats himself in the sofa opposite you, and he pretty much occupies the sofa by himself.
Of course he does.
And he raises one of these little glasses of his cocktail, and he views it, the liquid, through the light. And he says, I enjoy bringing together elements of our fine city into something greater than the whole, and I understand you both had business propositions, and so I thought, let us commingle ideas. And he swirls his glass.
And so are you doing a motif?
What did you
That's a
just
motive.
say to me?
Yes.
That's a visual motive.
Yes.
Okay. I genuinely okay, that's fine. It's fine. Yeah, okay. I will just say I did not expect to see Ms. Baiha here. It seems to me that perhaps we are at cross purposes. Do you not feel this, Iskander? Should we call him Lord Iskander? No, right? Like he's
No. He smiles and he says, "Well, often a mix can split. With enough skill, you can make it all work out. And besides which, be Ihar." He says with a little incline of his head, "I have heard tell of your involvement with Tamira, and I must say I think you're making a very poor choice." And he looks on with like,
Please go on.
Yeah, Tamira's poisoned the well by using her own bad name, I think is how she played this.
Yeah, this makes sense. Yes, of course. Yeah.
So V looks him up and down, throws him a glance, and says, "Jag vet inte vad det är grej med det."
And the translator says,
Yeah, the translator leans forward, puts his elbow on the table, and puts his chin in his hand. And he says, "Please don't come with accusations. What my esteemed colleague here is communicating is we want nothing to do with Tamira's business, and frankly, we're not in the real estate industry. In some
wait, is this a Shogun situation? Is the translator making V. Paihar's words like incredibly palatable compared to what they really are?
Yes, that's exactly what's going on.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah,
She basically told him to go fuck himself in so many words, but he's a slick translator.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. Yeah. I mean, not Tamira. V is unintelligible to me also, but maybe that could get. Okay. I will say Amida is known to me. She's a woman of no honor, no judgment, and I don't know about the real estate business, but I do know that she has entrapped more than one fine warrior in her sticky fingers.
Precisely, Iskander says. And he says, "Well, the reason I brought you together is down in Undervest is an excellent market for Paihar's business, and down in Bundervest is also what I understand to be a lovely community center built with my family's money."
What would the Hive bring to this, however? It seems that we are giving up our land, we are giving up our community center, graciously given to us by House Amsarak, and instead the Hive just gets a chance to make more money. Not even an honest Udawashan institution, this. They have come from Akos.
You see, this is a little something we in the industry call subletting.
Okay.
I hate this. What's happening? Why is it happening?
So Iskander's plan here is to get V5R to be your tenant and pay you rent so that they can sell drugs out of your base.
God.
Huh?
Okay.
Yes.
I can make this work for me.
At the community center?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I see this, and I will say, indeed. But is this not exactly the kind of thing that? Oh no! I know what I say. I will say, I presume, Iskander, that the reason that you would like the Hive to do this is that House Ansarek cannot be seen to be dealing in such goods. It would besmirch your reputation. No, you would become, pardon my French, my French, lol. Pardon my Severosi. Complete and utter outcasts.
Oh, I am not participating in any kind of trade. I am merely helping one of my tenants make a little bit of extra money on the side. And also, and he leans forward, because I think what has happened here is that his house has picked up on this.
Yeah.
And also, keeping the peace in Bundervest. And now he actually snarls, because he has figured out that you were aiming to fuck with the Hive. No, this is not happening. There's no gang wars happening on my terrain.
That's very reasonable for him to feel that way.
Yes.
And so what I'm going to do is what I want to do is roll against V. Because what I want to do is look at her and say, violence is terrible for all of our organizations, all of our communities. But my community also puts a very strong let's do some reverse colonialism. Puts a very strong emphasis on saving face. And I'm afraid that a drug dealer would be exactly the sort of person who would be unable to uphold their honor. Not just in our community, but I suspect among the nobles of Uduasha. And I mean to make no insinuation. It is just that, well, I don't think that anyone who would like to enter our community center is going to see the likes of Mount Himagiri anytime soon.
Very good. And what is your goal with this?
My goal, I don't know if this is a clock or what, but I want to scare V off. I want to make it clear to her that the best way for there to be no violence and for her to remain a reputable person in society is for her to let us have this. And basically tell her bosses, oh my god, these people came and fucked us up. It wasn't just that she let it go, but that we were,
Yes. Okay, fair. So what is going on here, to be clear, is that V just has no idea what's going on, but she's about to be attacked. Iskander, however, is doing his very best to prevent any violence from happening, but he's doing it by kind of forcing you and the Hive to kiss. Pushing you together like dolls and being like, you make up or else. So it's actually Iskander that is the real threat here. Sure. But you can make this roll against V. And I think getting her, I think you can have standard effect insofar as that she realizes that violence is a bad idea. And this is partly because you have Iskander here. So he is very much saying it is a bad idea.
Yes. Okay, great. Sway?
Yep. I think it's Sway. And I think it's still risky. We're not in desperate territory, so risky standard.
Makes sense. I'm right now realizing that I've had these cracked ribs for a little while, so it's really good that I'm not fighting, because I think I cracked my ribs on the last score that we fought in.
Yes.
So you know what? It's really good that I'm here. Great. So
risky standard Sway.
Risky standard Sway. I'm just wondering whether I want to push. No, I think it's fine. One of the abilities I took last session was, I named it Demon Mind, but it's Ghost Mind. Are there any demons around? Are there any supernatural entities in my presence?
Interesting. So Iskander is himself a member of the house, but I don't think he is fully demon-blooded, super cool, commands the attention of them. So no, I think.
Yeah, okay. This makes me feel somewhat better. Okay, Sway, risky.
I have a devil's bargain for you.
Yeah?
Which is, to appease Iskander, you can down one of his drinks and get very drunk. Not down it all at once, but, sip it as you're having this conversation and be like, this is really nice. Except that
No, go on.
His drinks are such that they can make him drunk, and he's a huge guy. So...
Yeah. Part of the devil's bargain is also actually liking the drink, which I was kind of determined to not do.
Yes. Oh no, he makes very tasty drinks.
Yeah, 100%. Oh my god, this is so good. Maybe the Uduashans have a point.
Okay.
Especially the people used to Kettrisi beer. This will be amazing.
Yeah, well, yes. Look, nobody's allowed to badmouth Kettrisi beer except the Kettrisi.
Okay, so how we'll frame this is as a temporary level 2 harm drunk. So -1 dice to everything from here on out.
Yeah, so I gain 1 devil's bargain die now for -1 die to everything else in the future. That seems fine.
Yeah.
I've never heard of compound interest. Okay. Sway, risky, standard, 1 bonus die. I have rolled a 5.
Okay. So, what will happen here is that V understands just how much trouble you're both mutually in. I think the message gets sent to V that like a gang war is just not a bad idea. House Ansarek is very invested in Bundervest being at peace right now for whatever reason. It's there are probably lots of political reasons behind the scene, but this is something that gets delivered to you loud and clear. And the consequence here, unless you resist it, is 2 heat. And the reason for this is like House Ansarek is again very invested in there not being trouble in Bundervest at the moment.
Yeah, I take the heat, and I like part of the problem is that I'm also like drunk and a bit indiscreet, right? So I think while I'm drinking, I'm usually quite careful about this, but this drink is way stronger than I thought it would be.
Yes.
Did
someone add the heat already, or should I add it?
You should add it. I do not think you can add it.
Then I will add it. You are very close to a 4th wanted level now. Just FYI.
We actually I know that it's bad, but we also have the thing where we have wanted level as tough, so it's totally fine. It's not.
It's good.
Really
It's good.
bad.
That's good. It's good. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So I will just let slip that we are definitely like planning, or we were planning something, but now it's off, right? Because it's fine, we're making peace now. But like, I think House Ansarek, when they hear in about 2 hours that we did go ahead with the plan, I'm not going to be very happy about it.
Yep. So we'll see if there's more to Saeeda right now, but I think there's a quiet understanding between you and V that like, okay, this is quite bad actually. Like we are planning to go to war, and it will be bad for both of us if we do. That message comes across.
Yeah, I gotta think about my next angle, but let us move away from this.
Yes. Bidrohi. You called out, like, let's do this.
Yeah.
And unless you take an action, there is no particular response, because...
My action is a flashback.
Okay.
So they have scrambled and run off to prepared positions, right?
Something like that, yes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Omid knows about that.
Yes, fair enough.
Yeah. So they're going to go into places where my guys already are.
Okay. So we can handle this in 2 ways. Either you can make this an action roll to prepare this and put some risk on it, or you can cash in Omid right now and basically say that the big favor that Omid did you, like your crit bonus essentially, is knowing that this is prepared. So you will know the locations of these people, but if you cash in the favor in this way, you have automatic and full success. But Omid will be like, yeah, and of course I'm not doing the fighting. I gave you this valuable information. Like, me and my guys will, shoot any stragglers we see, but, you're the mousetrap. So it's up to you whether you want to risk it with a roll or whether you just want to cash in Omid's favor and have him do all of the dirty work here. Or the heavy lifting, rather.
Well, my guys are like 6 people. So, especially if they split up, that doesn't work.
Yep.
Right. So,
fair.
So the other option isn't really an option. So I'll have to go roll, I guess.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Basically, the idea is that Omid, they're going to split up.
All right. This isn't the crew. Yeah, this is your personal cohort, which is smaller. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like what? Their guys are probably 3-1 for Omid's guys, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is that they're going to split up. Omid's guys are going to be there. My guys are going to be there. That evens the odds a little bit for both groups.
Yes. So I think this sounds like a survey or something, but like
I think maybe it's a command for the crew.
Okay, sure. We can frame it as a command using your cohort then.
Yeah. So basically, they're going to be there, and then they're going to be screwed, and they're going to instantly realize this, and then maybe I'll do another action afterwards.
Okay.
But this is me setting myself up essentially.
Yeah, sure. So you have your people prepared in the routes they're going to go down. Yeah, fair enough. We'll see exactly your position and effect. I think you're still at risky standard. I think you can have your people there. I think there are risks associated.
Risky standard is fine. What would great effect here look like, though?
Great effect would be not only figuring out what they're doing in the moment, but figuring out the entirety of their routine. I think. Like, what are they actually planning? Because they're setting something up here too. I'll flag that. So without great effect, you won't know precisely what that is. You just will know what they're doing right now.
Okay, let's go for great effect. I think to make it desperate, I'm just striding down the street. You know, I am fully open, exposed.
Good.
Okay, desperate, great. Let's see, I'm doing it with the crew. Is there a devil's bargain for me?
Okay.
Just to not get complacent about it, you know?
Yeah. We have the... so we already have the roof ball thing. That's coming into effect in a second. I think the other devil's bargain I have is, in order for you to do this stride down the street and set it up, you won't be able to see what your crew is doing. Like, you won't have line of sight to them. So we'll still narrate you as acting together, but you won't actually know what precisely how this shapes up.
I trust my boys. Alhamdulillah, boys played well tonight. Well, maybe. Let's see.
First of all, it's inshallah boys played well. And there was no tonight, but you know... yeah. I'm sorry, the legend is Imamul Haq deserves better. Is what I'm saying.
So it's a 5. I'm going to roll for the bod meshes. With 2 bonus dice because of Elite and also from Blood Brothers.
Sure. So that's 3 dice, right? Because they're 1 by default. Is that right?
No, 2.
Okay, so 4.
It's
Good.
a crit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Alhamdulillah, boys have played well tonight.
Okay, cool. So, a couple of things are going to happen here. I'm sticking with your devil's bargain that you took.
Yep.
So, well, first of all, what is the actual order for the Badmaishes?
Okay, so basically, I would like them to do what I'd like them to essentially reveal that they're there, and for Obis to reveal that he's a turncoat at the exact moment I do my next action. That's all right.
Okay.
So I'll just immediately tell you what it is.
Then that happens and do your next action. Yeah. Let's just have your crit bonus kind of be that you have the freedom to do that, even if you don't know exactly what has happened.
Yeah. I'm just going to demand satisfaction, aren't I?
Okay, and make them fight you?
I'm going to make the boss didn't... I tried to ask like who the boss is. He didn't show up. I'm going to be like, okay. All of your guys have guns to their heads. So how about you and I? We like settle this, you know, man to man, woman to man, person to man.
Okay,
I'm
enough.
in this situation.
So what the great effect means in this situation is that you get actually the entirety of their plan. So you have there's a chess match going on. They have 0 interest in fighting you here. It's absolutely not what they want to do. They are prepared. Like, the Hive are good at skullduggery. So they know that this is all a diversion, a hold-up, and they are planning to get down to the farm as quickly as possible. So if you hadn't succeeded with great effect here, they would have still tried to do that. But I think now you're in a position where you can actually demand satisfaction, even if that literally makes no sense. Like, because they have orders not to engage with you. But this has gone so well for you that their leader will defy those orders.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way it makes sense is that, okay, so they literally can't move away because, well, the guys they hired to help them are betrayed them. There's other guys in the way. And maybe if this man satisfies me and just murders me, which I suppose is what he expects to do, well, they can just continue on their business.
Yep.
Right?
Very good.
Fastest way to get out of this situation is to just kill me, right?
Fair enough. So how much stress are you spending to activate this move?
Sorry? Say it again?
How much stress are you spending to activate this move?
Let's see. So it's 1 stress by default. Fight you for a few minutes rather than moments. Their companions are busy. Duel attracts a supportive audience. Ooh!
Oh my god! Do it!
I'm going to spend 2 stress and get a supportive audience.
Okay, the supportive audience will be this roofball team that you drew down with your Devil's Bargain.
Yeah.
Bidrohi.
The reason that they are a problem, of course, is that they add plenty of confusion to the scene. So you will have absolutely no idea what's going on with your boys at the moment. Like, you trust them and all, but basically you demand satisfaction. Roof ballers fly down around you looking for the ball, which one of these people held that went somewhere. There's like people running around the roofs, there's people stopping to watch you, there's the roof ball audience, there's quite a lot going on. And then one of the Hive members just kind of melts out of an alleyway with a serrated scimitar. Like, backed up almost like a saw. And comes towards you with the weapon drawn. And just says, "Fine, let's do this thing."
God, why does he sound like that?
That's how Dagger Islanders sound.
Okay.
They're from they're from Fantasy Australia.
Yes, apparently.
Okay.
Okay. I give a bow, a flourish, and I say, "Bidrohi Ankatam, pleased to meet you."
I guess he introduces himself too, so he goes, "Versus Adelaide."
I beg your pardon? What did you just say to me?
Thyrsus Adelaide, that's his name.
Thyrsus.
Okay.
Okay, let's go. And I guess we cut as we rush at each other.
Yes. I guess we do.
Mhm.
So, meanwhile, at the farm, Mushfiq is creeping closer, but no violence has broken out yet. So I guess my first question actually is, Mushfiq, are you aiming to sneak attack these people, or are you waiting to see what Clem will do?
We've seen what Clem will do. So I think it's damage control time. Does Bushwick get the feeling that if this Waxwork Golem were to be taken out, that maybe the defenders would lose heart?
Oh yeah, they're relying on two things, right? They're Hive allies and this Waxwork Golem. Like, it's not like they can't fight without it, but they also don't want to lose life and limb, and it's much more comforting to have the big guy made of wax do that for you. So.
Okay. Now, if I'm within grappling hook distance, okay. Let me see what I've got. How can I start a fire?
Roughly. I mean, you're standing in a poppy field, so I guess you could set the crops on fire. But
I can also mark a lantern and maybe,
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we just say then uses his prosthetic arm to just create a spark?
Sure.
I don't think. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All
starting a fire is like kind of trivial. It will be an action roll, of course, but you can do it.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. All right. So the plan then is to push onto the golem, maybe smash the lantern on it so the fluid or whatever gets on, and we set it on fire. And it's a Waxwork Golem, so that should be that.
Okay, Clem. If this is Mushfiq's plan, does your plan align with this? It's like you have, again, you know that they are trying to stall for time. They have revealed their hand. And so, what's your angle on this? Is now a good time to break into violence, or are you doing something else?
I'd also like to add about the golem is that I don't think just setting it on fire is immediately going to cause it to melt, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to handle Uduasha.
Yeah, they have tricks up their sleeves, but I do think they're vulnerable to fire, sure.
Of course, yeah. But it'll probably take a long time and a good fire.
If nothing else, in part they are made of souls, and souls in Uduasha burn. So even if it wasn't for the wax...
Fuck me. Why would you say that? Holy shit.
Well, it's true. That's what the well is for.
True. I'm not. No, you're right. I'm just saying. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Souls in Uduasha burn is a lot.
Yeah.
Vince just likes to say true trivia. Come on, say.
Yes, but I want to hear what Clem is like doing as Mushfiq is sneaking up, because I imagine this is the situation where like Clem and Mushfiq make brief eye contact, and you can be like, okay, what's going on here? What's going on there? So Clem, what are you doing?
Oh, I think seeing Mushfiq is sneaking through the poppies, I think Clem's going to array themselves so they've got their back to the golem. So when it goes up in flames, they're framed by it. It looks very cool, because cool guys don't look at explosions. And they just set an arm on this family leader. I don't think that's the right answer.
Very good. So let's do Mushfiq. Let's resolve Mushfiq's action first. But yes, that is lovely. So besides Mushfiq doing damage to the golem, you will also be set up for this.
All right.
assuming Mushfiq succeeds. Very good.
Cool. Okay.
Mhm. So,
So,
I think taking down the golem is worthy of a clock. It's a cool thing, so I will create a clock for it. And I think it is a 6 clock to fully defeat it. By default, you have risky standard position, which means 2 ticks on the clock to melt the golem out of 6.
all right.
It will also, of course, be on fire, so like there are other consequences other than ticking the clock, and you're also setting Clem up, but just framing it that way.
Okay,
You can trade position for effect and go Desperate Great if you wish.
Yeah. Okay. I think. Well, how are we framing this? This is, I guess, it's an ambush, maybe.
Yep.
Or so.
I think it's an ambush.
This I'll prowl, and because I have ambush, that should give me.
Yes.
Would you like a grenade?
But I would love a grenade.
Yes.
I just have grenades. Would you like one?
Why would you ever say no to that question?
Okay, but I do
So
think
you-
if you're planning on
like a grenade.
planting a grenade in the golem, then that's Desperate Great by default.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so Desperate Great.
Uh-huh.
I'll have bonus die for ambush, and do I have anything else that might help?
Push yourself for extreme. Go for it.
Yeah.
I have a Devil's Bargain for you, a fairly straightforward one.
Okay.
And it's just the fire goes out of your control. Like you spill some lamp oil or whatever, and stuff starts to burn that you don't intend to burn. I mean, you want to take over this farm, right? So I'm not saying the farmhouse instantly burns down, but if you take this Devil's Bargain, the farmhouse burning down will be a danger that is on the table.
Oh.
What's a little fire? It's a lot. Don't take the Devil's Bargain. Sorry, I said this and immediately I was like, that's such a bad idea.
No. Yeah, that's a bad idea even for Mushfiq.
Yeah,
It's
I know,
not that
but
bad.
it felt like a logical Devil's Bargain. So
No, it is. I'm just saying that. Like, I think. Right, so we're doing Desperate. Great. Got a bonus die.
Oh, sorry. Before you go on, is it the case that if you set Poppy on fire, you could get high off it?
I don't know. That is
That's just
No,
that happens
because you
and
have
make
to
the Devil's
process
Bargain.
it first.
Mm.
Yeah, I was wondering whether that's a Devil's Bargain
Okay.
instead. That like
Nah.
Mushfiq inadvertently
No, I'm gonna go with the fire as my Devil's Bargain here.
Okay,
So
cool. No worries.
There's a very for anyone also who's seen it, there's a very fun episode of Samurai Champloo that is very similar.
Oh
to this.
yes, you were right about the mushrooms.
okay, Desperate Great plus
Okay.
1.
This one, I'm looking at my abilities where. Does the golem count as the supernatural?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, you know what? Maybe we'll use Ghostfire later because I don't think it really makes sense for this action where I'm just planting a grenade in this.
What
thing.
do you use Ghostfire later? It's not a choice. It's just a thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Right,
but
just try to
also
push
as
yourself a bit.
Aadiyat says,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I don't know if you're fighting to plant the grenade.
Yeah. So, what I meant is I don't think it
Applies. Yeah.
applies here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Desperate Great plus 1 it is.
Yeah, it's very great. Plus 1. 2, 5, 3. You did it.
5.
Yeah, it's 5. Yeah, so I think what we see is Mushfiq grapple onto the golem, pull himself towards it.
Uh-huh.
Clem throws a grenade that he catches in midair, and then he punches the grenade into the golem and vaults off.
Yes.
But I guess that wasn't a full success. So what's the desperate consequence?
Yes. So the upper half of the golem just blows up and wax flies everywhere. And this is hot melting wax, and it flies onto you. And so you take a. Okay, rather than flame this as a level 3 harm because it is desperate, you take a level 2 harm serious burns, but there is a second consequence, and you can resist them independently. And this is melted soul wax on your skin.
Say, does his soul start burning? Because that seems bad.
Yes, you are getting burns on your body, and we'll treat that just as a level 2 harm. But the second problem is that you are getting. Oh no, I'll make it worse. Actually, your prosthetic arm has wax on it. It's now sentient.
Oh my god!
Fuck yeah.
Yes.
You have some golem in
No.
your prosthetic arm.
Here close the doors to the House of Endings. Those who dwell within are Zoheb, called Klow, Aadiyat, called Soap, Symmetry, called Tree, and Salty. I have been Prince, your host. Our city of Uduasha is based on Blades in the Dark by John Harper and Evil Hat Productions, with special thanks to Johnstone Metzger. Follow us on Twitter or support us on kofi.com/desperateattune. If you want to engage further with us, we also have a Patreon at patreon.com/desperateattune, where you will get our newsletter, extra content, and updates from Uduasha.
On the next Desperate Attune.
I'm going to pluck out one of the roses from my hair. I'm going to twirl it around. I'm going to hold it in my finger. Then I'm going to kiss my hand and suck the poison out and spit it away, which doesn't actually do anything. It's just style points. I'm going to spit it away
may
through
be the case that
Yeah.
unless you do this directly, you poison yourself also internally.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Maybe, yes.